All right, if you're in the world of virtual desktop infrastructure, you know the dream, right? Total flexibility. But the reality? Well, it's often just plain complex. Today, we're going to demystify a concept that is absolutely central to fixing that, the Omnisphere Horizon Cloud Capacity Provider. Now, I know, it sounds super technical, but stick with me here, because getting this one thing is the key to a VDI strategy that finally works for you.
So if you're an IT pro, does this question hit a little too close to home? You're trying to juggle resources, make sure performance is top-notch, and keep everything secure, not just in your own data center, but in the public cloud too. It's a massive headache, right? It's this incredibly complex puzzle that, let's be honest, a lot of us are struggling to solve. So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll dive into the big challenge everyone's up against. Then, we'll pin down exactly what a capacity provider is. After that, we'll see how all the pieces connect, check out the huge advantages this model offers, and wrap it up with the one big idea you gotta take away.
Okay, let's set the scene. Your users are literally everywhere. At home, in the office, on a train, you name it. And that means IT has to deliver apps and desktops on-prem, in the cloud, and, well, everywhere in between. This can create such a tangled mess of management complexity, and that is the exact knot we're here to untangle today.
So, what's the secret sauce? Well, it all starts with understanding this one core concept. I want you to think of the capacity provider as the literal foundation. It's the concrete slab your entire virtual desktop house is built on. Okay, so here's the official definition, but in plain English, a capacity provider is just the source of your horsepower. It's the engine room. It answers the simple but all-important question, where do my virtual desktops and applications actually live? That's it. And this is where the power of choice comes in. You need to suddenly burst into the cloud for a big project? No problem, use Microsoft Azure or AWS. Want to get the most out of the hardware you already own and paid for? Awesome, use your on-prem vSphere data center. Or, and this is the real game changer, you can use both at the same time, mixing and matching however you want. It's all about having options. So now that we know what it is, let's take a quick look under the hood to see how it all fits together. Understanding this simple architecture is really the key to seeing just how powerful this whole model is. It really boils down to just three main parts. First, you've got the capacity provider. That's our engine room, the Azure, AWS, or vSphere. Second, living inside that provider is the Horizon Edge. Think of it like a local site manager. Its job is to handle all the communication for that one spot. And third, it reports back up to the big boss, the control plane. That's your command center, the one dashboard where you see and manage everything, everywhere, all at once. And this is so important. Notice how each capacity provider is linked to a single specific location, like a data center region. This is absolutely critical, because it means you can put your desktops and apps physically close to your users. And that's how you crush latency and make sure everyone has a great responsive experience. Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. But the only question that really matters is, so what? Why should you care about this architecture? Well, let's get into the two massive advantages this gives you. You get two huge wins here. First up, scalability. Imagine you need to onboard 1,000 new remote employees by next Monday. You can just spin up that capacity in the cloud just like that. And when the project's over, scale it right back down. You're never locked into your physical hardware limits. Second, and this is the big one for a lot of people, is unified management. And this is what that unified management actually looks like. 1. A single pane of glass. Instead of jumping between your Azure portal, then your vSphere console, then your AWS dashboard, you have one spot, one place to monitor, manage, and automate your entire VDI fleet no matter where in the world it lives. That is a massive game changer for any IT admin. So let's wrap this all up. If you walk away with just one thing from this whole explainer, what should it be? It's this. You can finally build a VDI environment that works for you, on your terms. This quote from the source material just nails it. The whole magic is separating where your stuff runs from how you manage it. The capacity provider is the where, Azure, your data center, whatever. The control plane is the unified how, and that separation, that decoupling, is what gives you all the flexibility and control you've been looking for. And that really brings us to the final question, one for you to think about. Take a hard look at your own VDI environment. Is it fragmented? Is it truly ready for whatever the business throws at you next? Because with a model built around capacity providers, the answer can finally be a very confident yes.